Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. Today is Friday, May 4th, and we are talking right now with our regular returning guest, Andreas Hale, who covers MMA and boxing with us. Normally, Andreas Hale and I cover MMA, and Andreas, we're on quite the little roll in on those MMA cards. We've had a bunch of winning cards in a row, so nice job to both of us. Today, though, we're going to take a look at two boxing matches that go this Saturday. Tony Bellew against David Haye, that's the rematch, and then an interesting the next Triple G fight where he's going to be a huge favorite against the replacement for Canelo, Martirosyan, and we'll get Andreas Hale's take on those odds. Obviously, Triple G is a huge favorite, but Andreas Hale, welcome back once again with us.
Hey, thanks for having me once again.
All right, let's start with the rematch between Bellew and David Haye. Of course, these two fought originally, and Haye was expected to. Haye was a huge favorite. Haye was expected to roll easily. I think he thought he was going to roll easily, and of course, he did get upset. The one big piece of extenuating circumstance in that fight was the ruptured Achilles that Haye suffered in the middle of that fight. So obviously, that hindered him tremendously. But he was still showing some chinks in his armor in the early rounds. Anyway, he was going for an early knockout, obviously. Wasn't quite getting it. And here we have the rematch. Haye is again a big favorite. Right now, minus 230. On the other side, Bellew is plus 190. And the total is 7.5 rounds. The over is minus 165. Andreas Hale, do you think that David Haye should be a bigger favorite here, or do you think he's going to get challenged once again, and maybe a Bellew as a big underdog at plus 190, obviously not as big as in the first fight, has some betting value?
Bellew has a lot of betting value here. That first fight was a stalemate up until David Haye got injured, and then Bellew just kind of took over. But up until that point, Haye didn't look that good. And to be honest, Haye's never really been that good. He's one of the greatest salesmen in the heavyweight division, well, in the cruiserweight division, where he talks a big game and he hasn't really backed it up against elite competition. And when he faced Klitschko, he got wiped out for 12 rounds, but he managed to stay on his feet. Bellew's a blue-collar fighter who comes to fight. He's not tremendously talented, but he's going to probably outwork David Haye in this fight. You know, I don't like the fact that David Haye's such a big underdog here. You know, he was a bigger underdog, and I didn't like him then either. So I love Tony Bellew here. I just think that David Haye is a little bit over the hill. He hasn't really been challenged, and he's gotten in there with somebody who just kind of had more heart than him in that fight. Granted, the injury, you know, kudos to David Haye for fighting through it. But the talent level, there's not this discrepancy that people think there is. So I like Bellew a lot, and that's actually my pick, hands down, to pick Bellew at plus 190.
All right, that's going to be an official play for you, Bellew at plus 190. And again, like I said, before the injury happened, Haye was looking a little bit iffy in the first fight as well, going for an early knockout, and it didn't come. So plus 190 is going to be an official pick for you?
Yeah, definitely going to be an official pick for me here.
All right, and then let's talk about the total. The over 7.5 rounds at minus 165. Now, I could see Haye maybe doing what he did in the first fight and looking for a measure of redemption and trying to get some kind of a dramatic early knockout. But I think much more likely is that both of these fighters are going to have a lot of respect for one another. And the first fight, even though there was a finish, it finished in the 11th round. I'm thinking the over 7.5 rounds at minus 165 might be a great bet. What do you think about that?
I agree with you. I think it's a great bet. I mean, both guys are pretty durable here. Neither, you know, Haye's a heavy puncher, but again, he hasn't really fought anybody, you know, that has a great chin before that. So this fight has a lot of potential to go over. Would I be surprised if David Haye scored an early knockout and just kind of went for it? Not necessarily, but I think it's more likely here that, like you said, Haye's going to be a little bit more cautious. He's coming off of an injury, and, you know, I think he just wants to get the win. But I don't think he will, but either way, I think this fight goes over. And I'm leaning heavily towards that. And now that I think about it, I'm going to make that official pick as well.
You will make that official pick. All right, well, I'll make that an official pick too. Over 7.5 rounds, minus 165. I would definitely be agreeing with Andreas Hale that the betting value is on Bellew at plus 190, but I'll hold off on making that an official pick for myself for now. But I will definitely take the over 7.5 rounds, minus 165. And of course, at a lot of books, you can bet, get bigger underdog odds on very specific results, like one fighter winning in a certain round. Andreas Hale, just open-ended question here. If you had to pick a certain specific result to help someone think about this, what kind of a specific result would you pick? Would you pick Bellew by decision? Bellew maybe between 9th and the 12th round? What would you say?
I'll probably pick Bellew by decision. I know that injury hurt Haye a lot, and you know it kind of hampered his his fighting ability from that point on, the knockout was almost inevitable at that point because he could hardly move. But I think Blue, like I said, Bellew's a blue collar worker. I think he's going to just out hustle him to a decision here. So I picked Bellew by decision.
All right, interesting. The fight going the distance right now is plus 200 at 5 dimes, and Bellew to win by decision is plus 560. But the official picks here, Andreas Hale taking Bellew at plus 190, currently to win any which way at 5 dimes. And both Andreas Hale and I are going to make over 7.5 minus 165, our official pick as well. Now let's move on to the Triple G fight. This is a classic. You see this all the time in MMA and in boxing when there's a huge, highly anticipated fight, and then one of the fighters has to pull out. Of course, Canelo, and then there's an unheralded underdog who is a very quick replacement, and that is Martirosyan. When Martirosyan started his career, he had a lot of upside. He was an Olympian in 2004. Never quite materialized into the pro that some people thought he would. Maybe you could say he had some bad breaks in his career, but here he is plus 1900 against Triple G, who's minus 3800, and the market is expecting a finish here under 8.5 rounds is minus 220. Over 8.5 rounds is plus 180. Market expecting a relatively quick finish by Triple G. Is that what you expect as well?
Relatively quick. This is a little dangerous because Golovkin, what he likes to do is give the fans a show. So he doesn't like to get early finishes, even if he can. And he looks at a guy like Martirosyan and he says, well, Martirosyan hasn't fought in 2 years. He's not a heavy puncher, so there's no real threat. So I can carry him for a few rounds. Now, where that carrying stops usually is around the 6th or 7th round. What that means is that, that under 8.5, I like it a lot. But there's a possibility that Martirosyan could stand up for a little bit longer. But I highly doubt it. I think Golovkin's kind of incensed because of the way the Canelo fight fell out. And he's going to want to make a point to destroy Martirosyan in probably the 6th round, but give the fans what they want. So I like the under here a lot.
All right, and you think that the talent discrepancy between these two fighters is what the market is saying, because the market is putting Triple G as a massive favorite here, over minus 1,000 and minus 3,800. Martirosyan on the other side, plus 1,900. And again, Martirosyan, he was a solid pro for a bunch of years, a solid contender. Is Triple G in any kind of decline that we're not anticipating here? Is he going to overlook Martirosyan in any way, or is he just going to dominate as much as everyone's expecting him to?
He's going to dominate. Martirosyan's a career 154-pounder. He's jumping up to 160. He's been knocked down by guys like Saul Roman. He's had hard times with guys like Charlo and Aristide Lara. So he's good, but he's in way over his head. I mean, we look at Golovkin, people forget this guy's an Olympic silver medalist. He can box. He's not just a slugger. He can do everything right. Martirosyan would have to hurt him, and he'd have to be quicker than him, and he doesn't have any of those abilities. And then plus the 2-year layoff is going to hurt. Coming in on short notice, trying to get conditioned in that short amount of time is not going to be good on the body. Golovkin should definitely dominate here. There's no reason you should even think about putting him on Martirosyan.
Okay, so as far as official picks are concerned, Andreas Hale, again, we have Triple G at minus 3,800, Martirosyan at plus 1,900. Total is 8.5 rounds, under minus 220, over is plus 180. And then, of course, there are specific result props that can maybe, possibly have some value. Triple G winning in rounds 4 through 6, plus 242. Triple G winning in rounds 7 through 9, plus 331. And Triple G winning in rounds 1 through 3, for example, plus 275. Those are just 3 examples. And you can also, of course, take the nose on those as well. Any official pick here is going to be a pass for you?
No, I'm going to make an official pick. I think it's going to go under the 8.5 rounds. I'm going to lean heavily towards this fight ending between rounds 4 through 6. I think that's where Triple G is going to have enough of playing around, playing with his food, and he's going to want to finish it off and look impressive doing it. So somewhere in the middle rounds, I would lean heavy. I like that line. I won't make it an official pick, but my official pick will be this fight ends under 8.5 rounds.
Okay, under 8.5 rounds, minus 220, a big favorite line there, but Andreas Hale confident that that's what we'll see. And a soft prediction on Golovkin, somewhere in between round 4 and 6. Triple G winning between rounds 4 and 6 is plus 242 right now at 5 dimes. A no is minus 305. Thanks so much, Andreas Hale. Talk to you again very soon.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.